When we look at modern man, we have to face the fact that modern man suffers from a kind of poverty of the spirit. We've learned to fly the air like birds. We've learned to swim the seas like fish. And yet we haven't learned to walk the earth as brothers and sisters. Poverty of the spirit.
Protect your spirit. Being always is. This is how we're with our ancestry, with our descendants, being. When we leave as humans, we go back to being, human being. That really means something. But we live in a reality now, we're in a time where I would say to anyone, you know, protect your spirit.
See them waste their life on our behalf. Men desire most what they cannot have. Do they really not know what they do? Are just working ways to break through. And I hope our people are gonna rise above the occasion. Oh yeah, and I hope my people are gonna move against sick inside of waiting. Come on, believe in what you know, not what you heard. Every step we take must be for sure. And know that wickedness is a test of faith. Long time they down press, let's make a change. And I hope my people are gonna rise above the occasion. Oh yeah, and I hope my people are gonna move against sick inside of waiting. We know the pain and suffering, we got to rise above it, yeah. We know the pain and suffering, we got to rise above. We know the pain and suffering, we got to rise above it, yeah. We know the pain and suffering. Though it seems like hope is lost, I'll never give it up at any cost. And through the worst of times, we still have grown. So first I keep in mind I'm not alone. You can't wait no more. You gotta take what's yours. You can't wait no more. We know the pain and suffering. We got to rise above it, yeah. We know the pain and suffering. We got to rise above. We know the pain and suffering. We got to rise above it, yeah. We know the pain and suffering.
Yo, what have we become? We trapped in the webs we spawn. Everyone under the sun has slowly become daily bread for the heads has only become. We roam in the dust, unholy and none. The throne of the sun, soon come, so let it run. Yo, the fire, roast the iron, the fire, purity to overstand the plan of the wicked man. Smash down the tyranny, mash down the fear in me class sounds. The fear when we blast rounds, the lyrically crack down. Security that appears to be, hey yo, I'm swinging more swords than the legends of Conan. No man can test, we on a conquest. Sending bomb threats to the Babylon complex. Race your consciousness. And if you're ready to rise, say, yo, if we don't speak up, then who the roster will? You can't mistake science and no Bumba Clyde Hill. We built to destroy the poison empire. Standing on the front line, screaming more fire. That's the war crier, the Iron Man tribe. I and now you go rise from the conquering vibe. Judgment, then run when the rapid shot let go. Revelation, let the seven trump echo. Yeah, let the seven trump echo.
Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, yeah. Bless, bless, bless. We are with the flow. Welcome to the flow, everybody. I pray that you are healthy and safe and you and yours are in a great place. We in the flow now. Something goes down. We in the flow now. We can't slow down. We have a special guest that will come up after this next break. And our theme for this episode is School of Roses, which is the sophomore album from Kristen Gray. This is actually when I caught wind of him, and this is the album that has a lot of my favorite songs, which we'll be hearing shortly. But since then, he has done many other projects, had some of his songs on some commercials and soundtracks. I mean, my brother's is holding it down for hip-hop, for R&B, for Christian rap, and all that. So we're going to get into a little bit of interview pieces. Then we're going to get into the last time on School of Roses, the opening track. And after that, we're going to get to our special guests. But I'm feeling blessed today. It's your guest, it's your host, Repertoire in the building. And I'm doing well. Hope you are too. My hope is that you become a fan of Kristen Gray after this, because this is what made me a fan. So listen close to the sophomore album, School of Roses. Little interview piece. We gonna get it now, because the flow don't slow down. And we're doing this Zoom too, by the way. So blessings. KCBZ Radio, check it out, y'all. Freedom Flow.
Hey, this is Kristen Gray, and you know I got soul. Yeah, the album, not to be cliche, but it is about, it's about relationships, yes, but it's mainly about growing up. Like, this is a snapshot of me at 28 almost. I'm 27, I'll be 28 very soon here. And the things that I'm learning, like, they have to be captured right now. Because if I talk about them in hindsight, they won't be as, I'll miss some of the emotion that may affect people that are experiencing some of the same things now. So I wanted to kind of like grab where I am, some of the things that I've learned in my marriage, some things that I've learned in my friendships, some things that I've learned in my relationship with God. Like, School of Roses is school, it's learning how to love.
When's the last time you said I'm sorry? When's the last time you said I love you? Do you mean it when you say I'm sorry? Or was the last time the last time? When's the last time you said I'm sorry? When's the last time you said I love you? Do you mean it when you say I'm sorry? Or was the last time the last time?
Freedom Flow. KCBZRadio.com. Destination.
Truth is that I don't know where I'm going or how I got here, but I'm moving on. Just move on.
And you're listening to KCBZ Radio with Repertoire.
For so long, how can I move on? Just move on. Let's move.
Clear.
Can't ignore these bars anymore. Ain't gon' happen. I've been to Charlie Chaplin, rapping. Keyword Chaplin, cause I locked up Charlie. Ain't no silent film. Time to open the caption. The fight's within. And I'm in the alley with matchboxes. Me and my shadow was slap boxing until I disregarded my God and we had problems.
Let me give you a vision. I was a boy, looking up to my daddy, Mr. Arthur Leroy, taking care of the family. He was always employed. He's in love with Leanne. She was always his joy. I quit shooting, afraid to miss. I still hear the tune of praying lips. Since '86, developed a good shot with bad form. Cause I ignored him and act foreign. I fast forward the whole time. I'm looking back. Don't know what I'm doing, how I got here, but I'm moving on. Just move on. Excuses that I'm human and I've been doing this for so long. How can I move on? Just move on. Well, it's easier said than done. It's true. All of this thinking that I really need a clue. I'm feeling overwhelmed, out of place, confused. All of this thinking, I just need to move. Let's keep it rolling.
What do you think? You like him?
Yeah, great. How do I spell his name?
CHRISTONGRAY. Truth is that I don't know when and how. Hi, Nikki. Hey, yo, Clyde, we got a friend, Nikki.
Welcome, Nikki.
She just got all this, you know. She's an avid fan of Freedom Flow.
Welcome to Freedom Flow.
Oh, here we go.
As you know, live.
We're clear right now. They can't hear us, though.
This was our first.
This is one of my favorites right here.
There. Can you kind of talk about what went into creating the song?
Well, the album breaks into different genres, I guess. I mean, it's an R&B album, so we wanted that soulful R&B sound, but we wanted to kind of touch some different demographics. So with Vanish, it was intentionally this kind of electronic, old, kind of like early 90s hip-hop type vibe. We figured those two sounds hadn't been capitalized together, so we myself and Whit, my A&R, and the main producer for the album, we just kind of sat down and went through some old samples of like just old Beatles type stuff, and we listened to some James Blake. He's like British artist who just has this electronic vibe, some Coldplay, and we were like, okay, we can't do it like that for this album because it won't fit, but how can we create a sound that will captivate people immediately, give that nighttime vibe? And we just started creating. I think within about 20 minutes we had Vanish. And it was the first song, actually it was the only song on the album that I wrote while it was being produced.
All I know is
I don't know nothing.
I wish
I had it figured out
by now. My ladies in dungeon. Yeah. My lovely London bridge
It's just falling down. Watch from a distance, cause I can make a difference. But I just make it difficult, so I'm grabbing my binoculars. Cause I don't wanna get close. I've done enough damage for the both of us. Thinking I should hit the road, get invisible, vanish.
But if
I
I
wait too
you
just make me go forever.
and I can't leave you here. We gon' disappear together.
Any longer we can hold.
The ship was never really safe at bay. I've learned to love your shining armor. Don't forget to let me go. Watch from a distance, I can make a difference. But I just make it difficult, so grabbing my binoculars. I don't want to get close. I've done enough damage for the both of us. Thinking I should hit the road, get invisible, vanish. But if I wait too long, you just made me gone forever, and I can't leave you here. tell me if it ain't broke, don't break it. So I'm trying to fix what's broke with no payment. No payment, I ain't have enough for the damages. So I put it down before I damage us. Disappear, I'm sure this appears as apathy. Now you mad at me, and it's tragic. We are drowning in an ocean of your tears. Wells, and I'm more like a whale in that well. Killer, toxic to my damsel in distress. So I step back, watching you just handling the stress. Try to wait it out, trying to let you do you. But I make them vows, I don't wanna lose you. Ready or not, here I come. Ali, oxen free, my dear, I run. Weather falls to the Titanic. Sink or swim, I promise you I won't vanish. But if I wait too long, you just may be gone forever. And I can't leave you here. We gon' disappear together.
Hope y'all all loving that out there. Listening to the sophomore album.
Bless. This is Repertoire. You just heard songs from the School of Roses sophomore album of Kristen Gray. That's CHRISTONGRAY. For all y'all out there searching right now, that was The Last Time. Moving On and Vanish featuring Swoop. Now we are moving on to our guests. And this guest, when I first met them, it was through another brother who I am very fond of. And I was playing the piano. He came in and now he's working at that Peace Center, holding it down. So we're going to do it how we normally do. Let's make some noise for our guests. Welcome them to the flow. Because here we go. So guests, bless, welcome. Please let us know your name and maybe some roles that you go by.
Well, you know, I'm Claudel Franchise Jackson, a one-man franchise, man, just out here to, you know, continue on with the movement, man, and show people that, you know, you can utilize your talents, man, for the best.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing I always got from you was support of my talents. You know, I'd be up in Sheldon Hall at the Peace Center and practicing a lot, and this brother be here just constantly supporting me and just yelling things in the room in between songs. So I just so appreciate you for that. And one of the reasons why I had to get you on the flow. You know what I mean?
Bless, man. Glad to be there, man. And you're one heck of a talent yourself, my brother. You know, you're amazing. You're an amazing person, man. I'm just glad to be in your presence.
Nice. So we're going to begin with a little activity, and it's called Affinity, and it's just 3 little statements. So, Claudel, could you please tell me one thing you've accomplished and will always take pride in?
Being there for my father in his time of need. That's very dear to me. I think being able to accomplish that on a day-to-day basis is what drives me to succeed and drives me as an individual, as we share the same name.
Nice. Could you please share with us, tell me one way you help people and what you provide them?
Well, basically, one thing that I do is clothing donations. I help different organizations in the community with clothing donations, food donations. I also utilize my sweat equity, whatever talent that I have. I share my talent openly and willingly with others. Another thing that I do is I like to create designs, clothing designs, branding designs, different things of that nature. And I like to help get organizations off the ground through different branding strategies. So,
yeah, you know, I remember those events over at the Peace Center. Were you part of organizing that as well?
Yes, for some events I've been a co-organizer, but as you know, I am the facilitator. So I host the facilitations of the actual events. So they're working with them on a grassroots level constantly.
That's what's up. And, you know, that's where it's at. And could you share with us, please tell me one person you believe in and why you stand behind them?
I believe in you, my brother, and I stand behind you because you are true to nature and you're true to your own independence.
Just want to breathe that in. You know, even in the flow, the silence is potent. How often are we taking time to actually just acknowledge that flow as it's coming in? And I thank you for that, Claudel. And you know, that's the reason why I brought you on the show. Just kind of you make me feel good. So I guess we're done. No, I'm playing with you, man. We got you here. You know, we just got started. We just get started.
It's a wrap cut.
You know what's beautiful about this interview? I just feel like throughout the years I've gotten to know so much of who you are. But I know you like from you now. You know, but I'm curious. Could you share with us? Talk about like where were you born at? Where were you brought up at, man?
Well, you know, I'm here. You know, Oakland, California. You know, that's my home. That's my root base. So.
Oh, okay. So you just and you lived in the Bay Area or Oakland your whole life?
Not my whole life. There was a point in time where I was able to play professional basketball, and I got to tour and travel and live abroad in Canada for multiple years. So yeah, so I got to travel the whole northern region, living in places like, you know, Washington, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado. All
Man.
Yeah, and then all the provinces of Canada, you know, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, British Columbia, Victoria.
I've been to them.
et cetera. So, you know, I got to span that whole northern region. That was
okay. Yeah, that's dope, man. You know, I'm learning that there's so much I'm learning about you that I don't know about you, your own grassroots. You know what I mean? Where you come from. So, if you can remember, like when you were a child, and rewind back, like, you know how sometimes children are like, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be this or I want to be that." Can you remember one of your childhood aspirations?
Well, we come from the same generation, so you remember when they started introducing trading cards in the classroom, where you could have your own card and you get to choose, you know, like what you want to be, what your aspiration is, and they would print it out and it would come out on photo day.
Okay, yeah, I got you. So then, you were like a star with a card. Okay,
exactly. I selected artist, just general artist, so that leads through all spectrums of artistry.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
was there like a specific like avenue of art that you were looking at?
Well, at that point in time, it was mostly like drawing and poetry. So I encompassed that together, and you know, from there everything else just grew.
Nice. Do you have any like poems that you know by heart, or one that's your favorite that you'd be willing to share?
That one that I've been saying for the last 15 years.
Let's go.
Back in the days as a youngster trying to get paid, hustling, selling hard times in the Bay, the uncles had me lost in the flames. The hopeless jokers left me lost in this game. And false advertisement, losing time spent, my bent time gets to my lost ways. As I reminisce, it wasn't the life I wanted to live. To my community, I wanted to give back a chance. Long I was at Glide Memorial with my mom's homeless before she died of the overdose. She showed me and told me the facts of life, yet before I had a chance to show her, she died. And so we have to save ourselves. We need to revitalize the health, not what wealth destroys kings and queens. I see the dream. America, this is America. I remember that. I could never forget that.
Ooh, that's fire. When did you write that?
2007.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually wrote that. I wrote that on the. We had did a trip to Washington D.C. with Green for All. And I was on the bus, the Rosa Parks bus, the Alabama bombing bus, and I just started free writing in a journal. You know what I mean? There at the museum, and I just was free writing in Memphis, and and that came from that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 20 pages.
What I'm loving is like there was a part in the beginning where you were just kind of chopping it up, and it was very. There's something about this, like I was talking about, that space in between, and then you attack it again in a certain way that piques the interest of the listener, you know. And I listened to, like, you know, in the beginning of my intro, we have Martin Luther King Jr., like, you know, and Tupac. They utilized a lot of, you know, the art form or the technique of their dynamics that they're speaking to really keep people locked in. And I just noticed that about you, and that was hot, man. So I'm curious. You know, you talked about grandma in the players. Is there any mentors you have in your life that you can recall that really made you who you are?
Well, yeah. Michael Jordan. I looked up to Michael Jordan as an athlete and as an entrepreneur. I looked up to Nelson Mandela, just for his strength and his solidarity and his willingness to continue on despite adversity.
Mm.
I looked up to Martin Luther King, Van Jones, folks like my brother Ambessa out there.
I know Ambessa.
Yeah,
I believe I do.
Ambessa,
Yeah.
Ashell, all of my brothers that came up through Silence to Violence, all of us.
Say that again. What came up from where?
Silence to Violence.
Silence to Violence. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I'll bet. Okay.
We all were influenced to each other. That definitely, was motivating during tough times. And just people in general, the human race. The human race drives me to go on.
Nice.
I look up to all human race.
Yeah. I'm curious, like when I was coming up, there was, so much energy and so much, visions and of things of what I wanted to become. And I'm curious if that was like maybe true for you, like maybe in your teenage days, or maybe even like, when you were, adolescence, what I'm saying? Was there something that maybe moved you, an event that maybe changed who you are?
Maybe my first studio sessions, when I first was introduced to the studio, and got a chance to record for the first time. I think those times, and that was like in the 90s, like going back and forth on tape. Like we would do something called B-sides, right? So you would have to get a tape recorder, and you would get the tape, and you would put the tape in the recorder. You would take the microphone or a headphone, right? And you would rap into the headphone. You would do one whole line side, right? Then you would take the tape, flip it over, do another side. And then if you get the double tape deck with the A and B, you put the tape in the B side, put the other tape on the A side, and then you can be able to do ad libs directly over the tape. And that's how I was introduced into music.
I probably have some tapes of recordings just like that. Like, what's funny is when you said headphones, I was like, yeah, that too. Like, I just discovered it just by plugging it into the headphone or the mic jack one time. I was like, oh, this works, right? Because if it's an out, it could also be an in, right? Wow.
Exactly.
There's something about externalizing it and then getting it played back for you. I had that same experience when I started producing, because I used to have all these melodies and so much going through my head, and I finally got to put it down, and it just expanded a whole lot of things. So I'm curious, like, what was that like where you started to go with, like, as far as your artistry, like, where did you see yourself kind of excelling most in? Because I know you as, I didn't even know you were such a dancer and such a producer or something. Like, I'm learning so much about you, Claudel. Like how did that come to be?
Well, I would all right. So we had talent shows when I was coming up. We had talent shows and things like that. So I would just like try to enter myself in all the talent shows, and I just wanted to occupy myself with sports and art. So that's all I did was just sports and art.
I think back on like teenage Claudel, like you and I would have been such good friends, man, because I was entering all the talent shows to myself and practicing and singing and stuff. It's kind of in you reminded me of my story I put on that GoFundMe. I recently had a GoFundMe I've created for myself, and it really was this epiphany I had of how much I'm not utilizing my resources, and I thank you for that, because there's one thing I know about you is you're a very resourceful person. I mean, when I'm walking down the Peace Center, people are like, where Claudel's at? Where Claudel's at? Because I'm like, wow, you are such a well that people draw from. And I just want to thank you for the service that you do and the above and beyond service backstage, because I feel like I've had an opportunity to kind of see what it is for you backstage. You hustling, you're doing it, and it's not about the praise. It's about the raise. It's about raising people up at that moment. You know what I mean? So you get that.
Bless, man. Continuous chi and key. Likewise.
Yeah, for sure. So is there anything else you want to share, like about like you coming up? Like is there anything else that you can remember that made you you?
Well, it was hard. It was tough. It was a struggle, coming up at times, sometimes homeless, sometimes, dealing with adversity, and always figuring a way to persevere through it. So that built the character of who I am. And that's what built my backbone. You know what I mean? So like being able to deal with multiple things as they arise, and also try to figure out how to utilize, like I said, the sweat equity, your talent base, and try to just encapsulate good people around you, and move forward from there. So that's how it is for me.
Yeah, it's the second time you've actually. Yeah, that's the second time you said that. Sweat equity. You know, I've never heard of that term yet.
Yeah,
And
like say for
I don't know where I've been.
yeah, like like say for instance, I produce an instrumental, right?
Mhm.
And there's an artist that needs an instrumental, but they don't have money or nothing like that. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna say, well, can you do a song for me, and I'll give you an instrumental. It's just
Yeah,
like bartering, sweat
yeah,
equity,
yeah.
same
No,
thing.
I love that though. No, there's an essence of mutual trade within that I like. You know what I mean? It's energy exchange in that form. You know, there's something that I oftentimes ask my guests, and you really alluded to it as far as talking about the adversity. You know, there's a lot of things I don't know about you, Claudel, and you know, I feel like as humans, we serve as reminders for ourselves by our inner speech, the things we say to ourselves. And I have this thing called a motivational mantra, and I feel like it changes as I grow. And the most recent one I can remember is, well, it started out as every intervention is divine. And then it had, it had me looking at like, or people like looking for divine intervention when it's like, it's always right there, and then that one evolved into divine timing. And I believe I'm still in that until I'm signaled or downloaded another one. Can you recall perhaps maybe a motivational mantra of your own?
Don't take life for granted.
Mm.
Wow. That's something that my grandma used to say, don't take it for granted. And, don't be afraid to work for it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like, you might have a goal. It might not be easily attainable, but if you continue to work, you continue to stride, you'll see progress,
I love that. That emphasizes like the dynamic between subtlety and suddenness. I feel like as America, we're so push button. We want it to happen like right away. And if it doesn't, it's a problem. Like, like our first world problems of no Wi-Fi, and here we are, when you're looking at, it's going, I just got to keep grinding. It's like kind of like, big tree, small axe. I love that. That's dope. Wow, man. That's dope. So do you have any events like I see this year? Can you talk about this little visionary sound kit you have right here? Because I remember you always talking about samples and like wanting to produce a beat with me. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so basically what I do is I sound engineer, so I craft sounds. So I like to create sounds and manipulate sounds. And then I generated a sound kit, and that's just one of them. But I've generated hundreds of sound kits and, probably close to 1 million sounds.
Wow.
Everything from synthesizers to drums to, loops, different MIDI keys.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, I'll play a couple of keys, record it, save it as a WAV file, ship it out, and put it into a zip folder.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to take a peek at it. And what's beautiful is that I believe in our next segment, we are going to be able to hear one of your songs that you have produced with some of that, and we'll get further into that. And just, Clydell, it's just an amazing thing to have more connection with you. I feel as if, after everything happened, we all lost connection with a lot of people. And I needed an excuse to ground with you. So I figured I'd just invite you on the flow. And I already had intentions in that. And you've just been by my side throughout this journey. And I wanted to keep it that way. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And like I said, it's an honor and it's a blessing, to be able to deal with reality as it is, and the circumstance in which we're in, to not fall into the negative and to switch the narrative, and to come together, because we're in the age of peace and the time is now. So don't stray from your people. Stay in communication. Yep. Communicate with your family. Communicate with your loved ones, those that are near and dear to you, because these are those times that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we wanted to see. We're here.
We are the ones. That's what's up. And that's some gold, some wisdom. And here to represent more wisdom is the School of Roses album. We're going to get back to Kristen Gray, one of my favorite artists. This song is Convenient and it's featuring Wes Pendleton. And this one talks about the dynamic of relationships and the dynamic of people. And as you listen to it, just notice where might you be kind of relying on the conveniency of things. You heard it first. Repertoire signing out. KCBZ Radio. Free to flow.
Have your fans been, transitioned over with you? Or?
Some of them have. Some of them, some of them hate the album.
Right.
You know, but I used discretion when I wrote it. It was a hard album to write, you know, and I had to make a choice whether I was going to be honest with myself about things that I was going through, or if I was going to make something that was a little bit more acceptable, or more digestible for listeners who follow me often, at the sacrifice of me really showcasing what I've been going through. I think taking the sacrifice of being a martyr for showing what I'm really dealing with will be helpful in the future. So it's an investment, and I hope that the fans that did not appreciate it will listen to it again and come around. So, but I definitely understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
Freedom, flower.
Hands in my pockets like let's play it cool. Next thing I knew, I had her pockets in my hands. Silly girl, you just wanna love her. Ex, silly boy, I used to love her. Next, access, coulda had sex, but I guess we didn't out of love. But it wasn't love at best, it was love S. If I'd have took love's cue, I'd have left. It's home, but it's hard to address. So I'm at home playing dress up, bottle of cologne on my dresser. I'm sentimental as ever, as if I live for the aroma of sweet dreams. King of getting off sky like you read it. When I really was late and broke early sunrise, you said you never forget me. Now you don't even call to say happy birthday. You only keep me around when it's convenient. Now you got me hanging on, yeah. When you're all alone and needed. No church in the wild. Never would have thought that we would get caught up. It's so wild in the church. I speak about the past like it's the present, and the present like it's the past. I wanted to tell my dad a couple days ago. I could see the white flag, but don't raise it though. I know they left. Some of the men was just boys, little babies getting annoyed, trying to blame it on you like they hooked up to unbiblical chords. I know they live for the Lord. Some of them women in war, trying to use their spiritual sword. You trying to get them on board and show them how to fight back. I remember when y'all met each other, white and black, trying to take the color just like that. See all the pain and the tears in your face. So I gave my shoulder on my back, but I still love you the same. You only keep me around when it's convenient. Now you got me hanging on, yeah. When you're all alone and needed. Yeah, oh, 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 oh. Now you got me hanging on, all alone. You only keep me around when it's convenient. Now you got me
Hanging on, yeah. Ooh. All alone and needed. Only keep me around when it's convenient. Now you got me hanging on.
Freedom, flower. KCBZ Destination.
When it's convenient. Oh, you got me hanging on, yeah. Ooh, that was Convenient, featuring Wes Pendleton by Kristen Gray on the School of Roses album. And ironically, which I actually don't believe in irony anymore, that really goes along the theme of that song. You know, the conveniency of a relationship. You know, you only keep me around when it's convenient, and that links into Clydell, our guest right here, and what his grandma was saying. You know, like don't take life for granted. You know, every breath, every moment we have. We are here live with Clydell, Franchise Jackson, my man, and he was just sharing, you know, wherever he was born, all the things that he's doing, all the activism things that he's doing, and he's just an amazing human being. And I feel so honored to be able to share with everybody, Clydell, how amazing you are. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, feeling marvelous, man. As good as you can be.
Bless, and you know, talking about the moment, I'm curious, you know, from everything that you've been doing, I'm going to imagine that there's so many avenues you can tap into, you know. So what have you found yourself really getting into at this moment? Like, where you know, where you got your claws digged into?
Well, right now, since you know, dealing with this quarantine situation, I have a lot of time on my hands. So, you know, I have more time to do production, more time to work on artwork, more time to be able to engage with others on their platforms and things like that. So, yeah.
Nice. So, is there like do you have like a certain, you know, like I know that there's so many other people you work with. Is there a certain organization that you're just part of right now, or something that you're building on the horizon?
Well, right now, you know, working with the Oakland Peace Center and in their day to day, that's where I'm at right now. Other than that, you know, I'm, like I said, working on different branding and, you know, different platforms like that. So, yeah.
So let's pretend like I'm someone who's listening and I'm like, oh, Oakland has a peace center, you know, and I never, because, you know, I've been there for many, many years, but you know that building better than I do. What are some of the things that the peace center might offer if someone was interested in checking it out?
Well, Oakland Peace Center offers health and wellness, as well as family therapy. There's also yoga. There's also school facilitations and trainings. There's also, you know, church ministry services, as well as a Buddhist temple.
You can buy a book. You can buy a book.
There's an open library where you can check out a book or buy a book. There's also Nomadic Press, which is independent free press.
Shout out J.K. Fowler.
Exactly. Shout out J.K. There's Project Darius, where there's, you know, clothing and food donations every single day, and open Monday through Friday.
Bless.
And, you know, sometimes there's a little opera, theater, you know, AA groups, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yep.
You know, for those that are dealing with that, you know, there's open check-ins. And there's over 40, you know, partnering organizations and 12 in-house partners. So
it's popping. You know, since I've been able to be in that building so much, I've met so many people. I remember Project Darius, you know, Darius's mother asked me to sing at an event, and I just felt so honored to be able to hold the music down. And it was a live thing. And, you know, I feel like I'm just waiting for people to ask me to perform. And that's why I practice, and I don't go out there and get myself a gig. So if y'all heard that, hit me up. Just real quick plug. So, you know, you talked about this quarantine thing, and that's what's real right now. I'm curious as to, like, you know, what has been, you know, because, you know, no one could have saw that, you know, how big this was going to be on the horizon, and all the impact that it was going to that it have on our lives as society. I'm curious, what might have been some of the adversities that came up for you as we are in shelter?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that, you know, hamper on your spirit, you know, like, you know, dealing with people that are losing people, you know, also dealing with the political climate, the way that is. There needs to be serious change. You know, what we're dealing with, you know, on a daily basis right now, as far as racism and social injustice, you know, so just trying to have a clear equilibrium, you know what I mean, be balanced in my root chakra through these times. So gauging all the different situations as they occur and just implementing my wisdom, because it's time for the youth to lead. We were the youth once, now it's their time. So just, you know, giving them my voice from behind the scenes the best way that I can.
Yeah, and I love that you say that, because I so believe in it's time for the youth to lead. I feel as if like me, like they're just waiting for maybe someone to open a door, or waiting for that permission, or waiting for even just the like a glimpse of somebody looking at them in that light. So I'm curious as to, if I was someone who was the youth and I heard you just say that, I'd be like, so what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Like, it's time for the youth to lead. And I wanted to get active, but I'm like, how do I do it, Claudel?
Well, for one, find you a consistent group of peers that share like-minded strategies. Organize yourselves, mobilize yourselves, come together, try to figure out a place that you can call home, find a base of operation, and strategize and get out there. And you could protest, or you can go into policy change, or you can find an elder. I say find an elder, someone with some spiritual guidance that can lead you on the righteous path. And culture yourselves and share each other's culture if you come from different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, so we're gonna dip into this little activity because you reminded me that this is what we should be doing at this moment. And basically, it's I'm curious, Slidell, what would change if you had one wish granted? Any wish.
I wish every person had access to food and shelter.
Yeah. A lot would change right there. That would be your wish.
Yes.
That's so selfless. That doesn't surprise me coming from you. And what do you think would change if you could control one of the 4 elements?
I will control the air.
And what would change if you had that control?
The periodic table would change if I had that control.
That's true. I don't know if that's a good idea. No. We'll take that back. All right. So what do you think would change if you woke up tomorrow as a child, but you had all the, Claudel now in that child body?
I would focus my energy into saving people that are no longer here.
Wow.
Like, how you have sometimes there's folks that kind of like strayed past, and you just wish that you could have did something and this and that. Like I would like be there for all of those people in those times when I knew, Got you.
So, okay, last one. What would change if the cure to all viruses was kindness?
I think the way the way that people think would change. Like they would hopefully be more rooted in medicinal items and not going down the other path.
I also imagine someone who was verbally abusive would be like terminally ill at the same time, right?
Yeah, like when coronavirus first broke out, I grabbed this book right here, Prescription for Nutritional Healing. By Bach and Bach. And I started studying up on different solutions that you could have as an antidote, like selenium and things like that, Yeah.
So I'm curious, that what would change if theme, if you were thinking about any, or if you could think of one that you would like to ask me, I'd love to open up the door for that.
Let's see. If you could drop a project, a musical project and dance project, like theater style, what would it be titled?
It's interesting you say this. I already had this idea, and it was called Educar.
Why Educar?
You giggle at that too. Educar is the Latin word for education, which means and it reminds me what the actual definition of education means to draw out. It means that basically it's already inside of us, and it's just a matter of learning what that is, and that's the whole essence of Tapped In. It's like you're already there. You're already golden. It's just there's all this stuff all over you. There's all this trauma that you experience that's blocking the flow of all that happening. So, in the show, it's dope because I do a lot of shadow work internally, and also shadow work with the screens. You know what I mean? And I don't want to give it all away, but the last piece is it'd be another opportunity for me to break the fourth wall, because I learned about that as I've been doing more theater. And that's when, or, like Deadpool does it a lot when when every time the actor or the person in the play would talk to the audience or talk to the camera, right? They're like letting them into their world. And I was going to do that in a very subtle way where, like, the show, like after intermission, the show would begin and I'm like, in the audience. The spot, like, boom, hits me. And it kind of, I'm subtly breaking the fourth wall, because now I'm just a person and I'm with you, because that's what I am in reality. And that would invite them to the stage. Like, I would be the bridge to the stage, and eventually I would get people up to share some things that came up for them in the show, and which would make the show different every time. So that's what I would drop, a project like that. I would incorporate all the resources, and you know what? I feel like I should make that happen after you said that. So thank you.
There it is, man. Put it in the affirmation. Yeah. Retractable and extractable knowledge. I like that.
Yeah. You got any more, or are you good?
What, for you?
Yeah. Anything else? Any one of those? That was a good one. You man.
Yeah. Well, when were you introduced into hip hop?
Oh, really?
And how?
I believe I was introduced into hip hop through like Belle Biv DeVoe era. You know what I'm saying? Like early '90s. Like when my brother, or even like late '80s too, all that. But my brother would dance a lot, and I remember like our style would just change. Like it went from like this, what is it, that Alexander Vanderpool whatever style, like Boyz II Men was having, like where it's like all nice and like cardigans and so I remember there was this period of 6th grade where like my picture was, I'm like looking all nice, my hair's all combed, and then like in 7th grade just became a straight b-boy, and that's when like I just started just dancing so much more and getting more into emceeing and all that. So I'd say that was the era for me. And I remember my first single that I bought on tape was Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music by Outkast. And I always like all throughout from 7th grade on, every day I had a boombox. Every day, everywhere, always, because it was my escape. And, when I needed to escape back then. So, yeah. Man, I feel like you should have your own show, Claudel. You're such a great host. Man, we're just switching roles over here. So, we talked about some of the adversities that coronavirus has come up, that have come up for you. And I thank you for mentioning, all the social injustice, the political climate. I didn't even get to that yet, but that's something that's present. It's here. It's now. We can talk about. Definitely going to talk about that more later. But I was curious for you, like what might be some of the benefits? Like sometimes there's good we make out of the hard situations that you've experienced ever since in shelter.
Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier, just the willfulness to overcome adversity, despite whatever trials and tribulations you go through. If you look for the other side of the fence and you're ready to climb, then go ahead and climb and get over that fence, because it's just another hurdle, and there may be more, so Don't be complacent. One thing that my father always told me is, don't be complacent in life. Like, don't be stagnant. Don't stagnate yourself in just one thing or one area. Of course, try to master things, but don't get stuck if you do get success in one.
I feel like that's one of the human downfalls. We get comfortable, and who wants to, then who wants to work anymore? If it becomes so easy. So, what was dope is that, I remember talking to you a few weeks ago, checking in about this interview, and it was when things were really hot, especially in the Bay Area, Oakland, specifically. And you had shared with me, you're going to be protesting from indoors, right? You said something to that effect. And, I had a concern in that, and you're like just in the heart of it. And I'm curious, as for you being there, like what has it been like for you? Like just feeling all that energy and just knowing the emotional climate outside as well.
Well, it's a trigger, honestly. It's a triggering effect because it's something that we've been through. And through the course of being an organizer and activist and et cetera, going through these situations continuously over and over and over again, it's just demoralizing and demeaning to a certain extent.
Yes.
So once again, overcoming it, and trying to realize what is your role in helping the next generation. What is your role to bridge the gap between senior and youth? What is your role as now an elder? What is your role? Can you be able to pass information to the next generation? Are they going to be able to disseminate it the same? Is, you know, like, is it the same? It is the same. You know, it's like, so hopefully it won't be as repetitive in the future. Hopefully these are the times that we were praying for. Hopefully these are now those times. So just having, you know, good people around me keeps me moving, keeps me motivated and not frustrated, you know, like, yeah.
I hear you. And I want to just thank you for sharing, you know, the depth of what you're sharing. You know, like there's so many people I would imagine are just curious on what that might be like to be in the heart of that and to actually have your feet to that ground oftentimes. And, you know, we're going to transition into some more Kristen Gray. And I just want to thank you, Clydell, for just sharing your heart in every word that you say. I just feel that. And this next song is about temptation. What I really love about Kristen Gray is that, you know, we really get to learn in School of Roses. And, you know, he's had a lot from what I know about him in his relationships and in his marriage and separations, and he has a daughter, so I really empathize with him, things he's going through. But this song right here, featuring Jay Givens, is called Wanna. And after this song, it's going to normally be our featured piece, which is usually a poem. This is going to be an a cappella with Kristen Gray. And listen close, Clydell. Everybody listen close, because Kristen Gray is School of Roses. He's on point, boys on fire. So check it out. Freedom Flow. You heard it first. KCBZ Radio.
KCBZradio.com.
Killing it, Clydell. How you doing, man? You good? If you need to use the restroom or, like I said, do anything, handle it now. Or you just want to listen to this song, because this is the jam right here. She's a conundrum. She can only cover, but shit.
Quarter in the sky before it falls to the ground. Gotta call heads and tails. Throw my nickels and my pennies and my dimes and the wishing well. I just wanna be a triple digits. Be a millionaire for a minute. Make some lemonade with these lemons. But I can barely pay attention. I don't even know I'm signed to a record label with an artist who repertoire. Cause nobody will see it. Chase a superstar. They see the track go crazy. But I don't wanna swim in the mainstream life, God. You better come save me. Could be a long way down, baby. Shouldn't, but I wanna. 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 Tell myself, please stay strong. She stayed long and the DJ's gone. She ain't going home. I wanna say bye. Wanna get away. Don't you think of me anymore? She can't go. Please stay close. You know how it goes. And
Check this verse.
always gotta happen to me. A song of a siren caught my iris. Slow wine from her island just crashed into the coastline and Poseidon attacks the new me. You know she's bad, Mike Jackson elite. And she just wanna thrill a man. Then a hand, scribbling off of the wall, started with dog. Really, she just wanna kill a man. Hope flows both go with Gilligan's on the wheel again. And he's fiddling with demonic riddles on the riddling. And the minnows in sin. In the wind, like in the willows and spinning like ceiling fans. You just need a healer, man. Absolutely. And she just wanna share my life. I stole that line from an absolute leaf. Holy grace, I know the pain. Trying to be the holy homie protege. Then I sank in the ocean and can't swim good. Frankly, this overdose on Novocaine hurts to feel. I'm a father, shouldn't, but I wanna. Got a wife and daughter, water all around me. Yet the thirst is real. I'm praying. My eyes closed, I'm swinging. Aiming for the fence, but the game is dangerous. And the king stayed hanging safe. I'm sure how
Nothing was the same then.
Freedom, flower, KCBZ Radio.com. Destination
That's a song.
Some days I feel so lost. Some days it seems so far. Accomplished impossible. Failing at those milestones. Now I try to be the hero, just to find that I'm a criminal. And I've discovered through the course of sin that I'm no good alone. Jesus, oh Jesus, my Jesus, that's why I love you so. Stories I'm not inclined to, say the least, I laid my bed down. You were there to catch me when I fell. Tossed my sins into seas of fairly well. Surely, goodness and mercy shall always follow and never return void. Oh, hallelujah, being the highest praise. Give it to me gladly all day. And I just hope that all my life and days that I in every word, even with evil with me, I'm never sinking. I am weak, but you are strong. Even with evil with me, I'm waiting for you. I know you won't be wrong. La 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 la. I just hope that all my life and days that I remember every word. God bless you.
Yes, yes. And I just hope that all of my life conveys that I mean every word. You just heard Wanna featuring Jay Gibbons by Kristen Gray. It was off the School of Roses album and an a cappella of Even with Evil with Me. And that is the title of his second album. And this is actually the second song I learned by him. And Clydell might actually recognize that song because I had to learn it by ear. And that's one that I sing often, and it's one of my favorite songs. And whoo, your boy is fire. I was curious, Clydell, I don't know if this is your first introduction to Kristen Gray on this level. What do you think about that?
Honestly, that's amazing. I thought you wrote that song, man. Like,
I wish,
because you performed it just as, man. Yeah, but amazing artist. What's the title of the first album? I'd like to check out both of them.
The first album?
Do you know what the first album was?
Yeah, his first album. It's interesting. I think, no, you know what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Even with Evil with Me is the first album.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I learned that one first. Okay, yeah. Then School of Roses. I know he has this mixtape that it confused me when I'm like, where does this fall in to where things are? You know what I mean? And is this an album? And you know what I mean? So that's why I'm kind of confused on that. I know that School of Roses sophomore album. I know that. But other than, because I really wasn't I didn't even know who he was until later on, until like School of Roses. I'm like, okay, who's this dude? Okay, so I got to check him out. For sure, man. What's one thing that you like about his music so far?
The octave switches, the way that the octave switch, I can go from kind of like a subtle rap to a melodic archaic sound that can range in different, yeah,
his falsetto's nasty. He's really good in that. I love that song. There's something about hearing that live that he'll do different embellishments that I started to do in my own performing, because I wouldn't think to go there. And just like you say, like, you thinking I wrote that song is because he had that ability to write something and perform something so deep within me that it just feels like it's another clear transmission coming through, so I think that's a testament to how good his music is. And keep checking him out. He's fire for sure. And we've been talking a lot about what's been going down for you, Clydell, and all this. And I'm curious for you, let's imagine that you have an opportunity to create whatever you want, because you actually do. And I'm curious, like, for the future of Clydell, what does that look like or feel like to you?
Utilizing multiple skill sets, and personally aspiring to be greater than a living legend, be like just the highest side of myself that I could possibly be on earth.
And do you picture yourself doing something specific, or like in a specific place making this happen?
I feel like, changing my frequency and probably tapping out into a different dimension, and, seeking refuge in a different dimension and creating from there, and then coming back to this dimension and sharing that energy.
Nice. And what might be the effect of the energy shared? Like, what are you hoping for within that? I mean, I'm going to mention something positive, but like, is there something specific?
A peaceful, non-racist nation.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this hashtag. I'm probably the first one to do it. It's called, I put it down, it's like hashtag, what is it? More culture, less color. More culture, less color. We need to be more focused on culturally who we are, and culturally who that person is, than color. And, I think about if I had the power to have one of the four elements, I would want it to be earth. And mine would be like, I would basically suck everyone into the earth, because we're all earth elements, and then bring them to their origin and bloodline, to that land, and have them spend time there, and have them get like who I am as a person and who my people are. And if you're biracial or triracial or multiracial, you're going to visit all them spots, right? And when you're ready, you come back, because then we'll come back a bit more whole and a bit more appreciative of what a third world mind might think like, or what it might be like. These luxuries that we take for granted every day. You know what I mean? The fact that you can turn that knob and trust that hot water will come out. For some people, that's not even a thought in their mind. You know what I mean? Water just in general, let alone being hot. You feel me? So there's something about, you know, there's alignment. I feel in like who you are and what you want to do. So let's dial into that a bit more. I'm curious if we can get more concrete with that. You know, like if like you asked me this project that I would want to create, or this theater show, you know, like what do you see your name on, like 5 to 10 years from now? Like what, you know, if you could do whatever you wanted.
If I could do whatever I wanted, I would see my name on top of a building in like on Franklin or something.
Oh, really?
You know, like a Kaiser. You know, that would be the dream.
Like that's your building, you mean? Like your name's on a building because it's your building. And what do they do in this building?
Well, everybody that, like, imagine your radio station will be in that building. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you got your own empire, basically, in a sense.
We would have.
Yeah. But you are okay. So you are in leadership at this empire. Nice. I am liking that. And I love how you chose a building, because there's a foundation to every building. And I would imagine that you'd want it in the heart of where you need to be active. Nice. I'm with that. Yo, I don't know where the plans are or blueprints or the donation basket is for this one, but I am in. I'm all in on that one. And that's dope. Have you always had that idea or vision?
Kind of, like I said, you know, the first dream was to just be an artist in general and utilize all the talents and encompass them into one somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
nice. Okay, so let's imagine that, you know, like you were trying to do this, you're trying to make it happen. What might be some things you might foresee that might get in the way of this actually progressing? This idea.
Nothing. I don't see anything getting in the way of progression at all, because I don't see anything that could be volatile or destructive or conducive to negative energy in my path.
Nice.
And, you know, it's called the sway technique, Aikido.
Aikido, the sway technique. Really, is that more advanced? Because I studied some Aikido. The sway technique.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you break that down? Like in Aikido, like how is that performed?
All right. So say there's an advancement forward, and you step to the side, and you just sway.
Ah.
You transfer the energy. You let it's called being weightless. So you just let the weight go in whatever direction that you deflect in. The same thing can go with lifting items or moving items or carrying heavy items. You can use those same techniques, or even like say if you're moving heavy furniture, you can say, for instance, slide your ankle, move your hip, and turn 2 fingers, and you could move 400 pounds. So.
Yeah, I'm imagining like being like a rock in a river, and just letting the water don't splash. Don't let the water won't splash on you if you're just round on your edges and just kind of letting it in. You know what I mean? Let it go through. You know what I mean? Not resisting. All right. I'm with that. That's dope. So I'm curious, Cladell. I don't know how far you've ever gotten into trying to make that happen, but would you be willing to do a little activity with me?
Sure.
Based on this idea, like, did you have a name of this building? Well, so your name, does it say franchise or does it say Cladell?
Well, it wouldn't have my name physically on the building unless there's like my signature like underneath whatever the big font is, you know. So can you picture the letters? Yeah, I see big block letters. With some type of a sense, some type of like graffiti a sense, whether it's like arrows, where like you know how like you have the arrows that go like that, you know what I mean?
To frame it, yeah,
and possibly some like kente or something, yeah.
Can we just like possibly just maybe just pick one word? It doesn't have to be the forever word that would describe the building, just so we can put a name to it. You feel me? I want to name this. You got to name it to tame it.
It'll be called California something.
Okay. All right. I like that. California something. That's what we're going to call it for now. Nice. Okay. So, Clydell, the activity goes like this. Basically, we're going to take some deep breaths. And so we got to do this first too, though. Like how let's do a little projection of time here. Like, would you imagine this happening maybe 5 to 10 years? Maybe 10, 20, or 15? Is it something more on the horizon?
I could say, 10, in between 10 and 20 years.
Okay.
That's a positive goal. That's a positive goal there.
15 years, yeah. I can only imagine how long the legacy of the building and the energy it's creating would last with 15 years of your work already thus far into it from now. Okay, so the activity is basically we're going to take some deep breaths, and we are going to land in ourselves, and then eventually get a chance to travel to that time of 15 years from now. And we're going to get a chance to reunite. And I'm going to bump into you somehow. And we're going to be at that building. And we're just going to explore what that's like for you to be in this building. Are you down for that?
I'm down.
All right. Looks like you're grounded. You're just a grounded individual, but whatever you need to do that. Maybe it's closing your eyes. Let's invite you to just see if you could just settle yourself in your breath. Because our breath is in a constant flow, whether we are aware or not. And with our breath, there's energy. So as you continue to breathe, we're going to focus the last 3 breaths that we take towards sending our energy and our beings at this moment to 15 years from now. So we're going to take that first deep breath. Send that energy. Breath number 2. Breath number 3. And when your lungs are empty of breath on the exhale, we will open our eyes and be 15 years from this moment. Oh, sir, excuse me, sir. Oh, is that Clydell? Franchise? What's going on, man? How you doing? You still in Oakland?
Oh, yeah, right here, man, on Franklin.
Yeah, wow. Actually, could you help me? I was looking for a friend. We're gonna meet around here. Franklin, what's the cross street right here to the left?
It's Broadway.
Oh, okay, Broadway. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like I got like 10 minutes to meet him. So, what you doing here, man? What's going on? How you been?
I'm doing all right. I actually own this building.
What?
Yeah.
That's you right there. California something? That's you?
Man, that's us.
Wow. I had heard from someone from the Peace Center that you were doing really, really good in life, but I didn't know like this. Like, what do you do here?
Well, honestly, I have a whole series of audio-visual destinations. If you want to go to the 3rd floor, you can go to the 3rd floor. There's a youth-ran video program. If you want to go to the 5th floor, you got Dwayne Wiggins in there.
From Tony. Yeah. Oh, what? That's my boy. Okay.
You got a Tapped In Freedom Flow up there on the 7th floor.
Wow. So yeah, man, I remember you talking about this, and you were talking about how, you wanted this building, like you want to have a space to be able to handle this. And I'm curious, like, how has this like changed your life? Like, what did you do to get here? Like, you had to do something.
Well, I just stayed consistent. I kept working. I kept looking for different resources that could help us. And on the grassroots level, I continue to keep organizing. And strength in numbers is the way to go.
Wow, man.
That's why I say we, because I didn't do it by myself. It took all of us over the last 15 years to be able to get to this moment of progress.
I bet. I mean, it's a big building, man. Oh, man. Wow, man, but you know, I should get going pretty soon though. But I would love to check out that third floor and fifth floor stuff, you know, after this meeting. But yo, you got my number still, right? Because man, I gotta definitely get back to you on this, right? We good?
What do you mean number? I could just tap your face right here in the holographic projection. Hold on, here you are, right here.
Okay, whoa, for sure. Okay, yeah, hit me up. Yeah, hit me up, man. Thank you, man. It's so great to see you again, Clydell, man. I had no doubt that you were going to make this happen. It's so great to know that this is your building because you know what? It should stay in the heart of Oakland is how I feel. You know what I mean? The people who have the heart of Oakland stay in the heart of Oakland. More culture, less color. You feel me?
Bless.
You feel me? Blessings, man. Blessings. I'll get at you, man. Bless. So I just invite you to land back in your breath. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths again. Breath number 1. And as you're breathing, see if you can send your energy and our being back to the now. Breath number 2. And with this breath, remember who you are and who you want to be. Breath number 3. With this breath, remember that energy, because that is forever. And when you're fully exhaled, breath number 3, we'll be back to now. Welcome back. Wow, what was that like? I don't know if you've ever been in your building before, but that was nice.
Man, that is crazy to see Amtrak's Media Global turn into California. That's something.
Whoa. Was there any gold you feel that might have come about that from that activity?
I think that activity is an activity that should be shared with the group. That's something that I think a lot of people that could help them engage with their future self. I think that's something that's needed. I think you should turn that into like script that up. Yeah.
Well, what I know is that if I was listening to this interview, I'd want to get more involved with the present self of who Clydell is. I'm like, yo, how do I get some sounds? How do I be more of an activist? How do I, really follow in the footsteps of this great man right here? How might people be able to contact you? Any handles, any shout outs?
Yeah, definitely. You can hit me up on Twitter at Franchise Jackson, FRANCYEZ Jackson, or you can hit me on Instagram at AMG Images or Exotic Instrumentals, or just type in AMG7 and I'll come up, or just type in Franchise Jackson on Google and I'll come up.
I'm curious, is there anyone you want to shout out within these next 30 seconds for you, man? Because you got the floor. It's all you.
I want to give special thanks to God, to my parents, the ones that created me. I want to give thanks to all the fans, family, friends, all the people that were out there during the struggle, through the struggle, all the people out there protesting, rioting, all the people that have been going through social injustice, all the people that are aware and conscious, all the people that are atheists that are in need of those that are aware and conscious. All of the world, we are one, united.
Blessings. It's this platform was designed for people like you, Clydell. I feel like the world was designed for people like you. And my invitation for you is just keep shining, brother. Much love to you. Thank you so much for being on the flow. And if you want to be on the flow or have any questions or comments, please email us at onefreedom, the number one flow @gmail.com. This is Repertoire signing off. We're going to end the night with some more Kristen Gray from School of Roses. It is hello, goodbye. Blessings to everybody out there, KCBZ land. Nothing's going to stop the flow. Destination Global. Blessings. Just breathe into it. Ease into it. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, dude. Clydell. That was fire, son. That was fire. How you feeling?
I feel good. You know, you're tuning in to KZBZ Radio live with your guy, Repertoire.
Yo, so this is gonna air again next week, same time. I think it's people in London, people everywhere, Destination Global. You know, we're getting down. So I think Saturday too at 10 a.m. You can check out the site for the local listings. Hey, Eric B, you want to say anything to us? Oh no, we good? You turn that down for a second. I'd love to check in with you, man.
Turn down Christian.
You know, you can't tell the DJ to turn down. The DJ gonna fade out. The DJ gonna fade out.
Yo, my hope is both of you each got a different relationship to Kristen Gray, who I'm talking about now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, he get down, bro. Yeah, this one, it's on YouTube. The YouTube will come down probably in the next hour. Clip out all the licensing things. Full version to be on our site. The clip version to be on YouTube. I don't want them at YouTube. What does that serve me? How does that help our cause, right? We try to be the voice of the people. So yeah, the clip will be on YouTube for a little bit longer, then it'll go private, chop out all the music part, and then that place it fills in where it says go to the station for the full thing will be up there in the archives a couple days, and then the show will air again on air on Saturday at 10. Yeah.
10 p.m. or 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Hold on, 10 a.m.
Cool.
And then sporadically throughout the week, but the next time that it airs will be Saturday at 10 a.m. and then it goes into like random rotation throughout the week.
Nice.
And then
Thank you.
It airs again the same time next week.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I want to thank you so much, Claudel. You know, I was excited about getting you on, and I knew it was just going to be an awesome interview. And man, you time travel like you do that all the time, which was so effortless. I know, which is super dope. And I felt like that would be a great thing for the listeners to be able to witness as well. So I just want to thank you for blessing the flow.
Blessings. Yeah, I want to thank you, thank the DJ, thank everybody out there. Let's keep it